Welcome everybody to another day of Pro League, but not just any day. It's the Bronze Challenger match here between the Jin Air Green Wings and CJ Entus just barely making it through. Extremely lucky, but they did it. Now they're here going up against Jin Air.
That's right, barely making it through. Like the stars had to align for them to actually make it this far, and now they have a shot at making it through the playoffs. Yep. Starting at the bottom though, in that bronze match, the third and fourth team will be playing to try and get up there, play second place, and then in the finals up against SKT.
Saw Jin Air, they went 4-3. One game better than CJ Entus, 3-4 and a -1, and they still made it. And up here in the top, our first game, it's going to be SOS versus herO, a PvP to start things off on Deadwing.
That's right. This should be a pretty interesting one. It's really going to set the pace. Second map after that will be EsportsTV, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. So potentially see another Protoss after this one to maybe try and snipe him out before we get to Expedition Loss. I'm sure we'll get a list of the whole maps in just a moment, but it really tells a story in this kind of all-kill matchup.
Yeah, bit of a mix-up here for the playoffs, of course, for you guys who are not aware. As Moonley mentioned, it's going to be all-kill format here, as it has always been for the playoffs. And for the last time these guys actually went head-to-head, herO was the superstar. He came through in the clutch. herO, he won one game, I believe, and then he lost the next one to Rogue. I think it was a snipe build on Expedition Lost.
That was a sexy build. Yeah, that proxy.
And then herO just swept the team, and he took the win over Maru, I believe, in Game 7. And
I think that's another dangerous thing here today when we go in and look at these two teams. I think herO, despite his recent shortcomings in GSL, he's still so dangerous in DBT, and he really has Maru's number. So it's another very dangerous opponent they got to look out for before they just throw out Maru to try and do the cleanup job.
For sure. I would love to see Jin Air have a better answer this time around. I don't think you want to send Maru head-to-head with herO this time. You know, hopefully they send out herO a little bit earlier on. We were talking about the maps before. Expedition Lost is going to be number 3. Also, Cactus Valley, a map that herO always loves to come out on. So I wouldn't be surprised if Jin Air actually gets a bit lucky just with the maps here, and they do send out herO a little bit ahead.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a bad choice, but here we have a look at the round 3 team rankings. That's how it all ended. This is how these teams are seeded. SKT dominating like never before. KT Rolster in second. Jin Air Green Wings making it in third, and CJ scraping by.
Yeah. You can see it there. Samsung GalaxyCon and Spenu at -2. Both of them indicator points. Just one game behind CJ Entus. Of course, another story, Prime going down 0-7, -20.
Yeah, they got the new record for how many times you can lose horribly.
It's quite sad. We'll have to see if they can do a little bit better later on. But here are the way the points have been sorted out so far. SK Telecom T1 on top and going to be doing better. They guarantee themselves at least 10 more points because they will make it to at least the finals of round 3 playoffs. CJ Entus doing quite well for themselves, as well as Jin Air Green Wings in third place, and KT Rolster making it through here.
Yeah, they're making it through. You know, they're only 30 points above a 5th place, so they still got a lot of work to do, especially in the next round. But yeah, the top 3 teams have really solidified themselves at this point.
Yeah, and here you guys see the winners' rankings. A lot of KT players, in fact, as well as, of course, Jin Air and CJ players up there towards the top. The only player who's not in those 4 teams, actually, was Lucira, an MVP player.
That's right. Enough. Yep, the carry for that team. But here we go. Here's the storyline of today. It's going to be the list of maps, and it plays into a lot of the strategy these teams have. Both of them starting very strong with, you know, kind of like their best Protoss players, SOS and herO on Deadwing. It's a big map, and it's a Protoss map for sure. Then going in EsportsTV, not a bad one either for Protoss. But then it gets to Expedition Lost, and that's where it gets a little bit more dangerous. But we'll have a look at the viewpoint right now.
Score tied 2-2 between Jin Air and CJ in best of 7 matches since 2014. And third and fourth card of both teams are not doing well recently.
Fair enough.
Third and fourth card of both teams. I wonder who exactly they're talking about.
That's a good question as well. That's probably one.
That's very interesting.
We'll have to think about that one. I mean, we know, for instance, in terms of for CJ, herO and herO, they aren't playing the best. They aren't playing like they were in round 2.
Yeah, but those are like the first and second cards, right?
Yeah, so who was the
third 3 and 4th? herO is one of them, of course. But I'm not exactly sure about the 4th. Guys, we're going to jump straight into a coach interview. No time to think about that anymore. Let's see what these coaches have to say. before we go into those playoffs. First to the Jin Air coach. Just curious about something. MVP Spenu and Samsung had a good chance to make it in the playoffs, but at the end of the day, CJ made it through. I think he said he felt very sad for Team MVP. They had a good chance to finally make it to the playoffs here. They needed the playoffs a lot more than either of these teams, that's for sure. They were very close. In fact, in terms of points compared to the other teams. How did you feel when your opponent was decided to be Jin Air? I thought that we had a good chance to be in the playoffs, looking at the remaining matches. But I was pretty flustered when he saw the scenario, you know, working well for the team, the fact that they were able to make the playoffs here. How's the team house? How do the players feel right now? Everybody was on vacation at that moment. They were probably at their own houses watching the games. But we had a Kakao Talk room with all the players in it, and all the players were really happy to see every star align, as we were saying before, for them to actually make it into the playoffs. It was an opportunity that the gods gave them. So because of that, they feel like they have a good chance to do well in the playoffs, because obviously the luck is on their side.
사실 저희가 3라운드 들어오면서 약간 3라운드 운영을 좀 컨셉을 좀 다르게 잡았는데
Coming into the third round, we changed that concept, but it didn't really work out well for us.
하지만 그 얻어가는 것들도 좀 많이 있어서
But we gained a lot of experience through our mistakes, and we learned a lot from the third round. So we're going to use that experience to better ourselves for the fourth round. And our final goal is to win at the final playoffs at the very end of this year. So this mistake and the problems we had this season are going to help us develop our team.
그렇게 생각하고 있습니다. 좀 말이 꼬이네요.
혹시 그 오늘도 3라운드의 컨셉과 맞게 오늘도 그런 그 정말 비장의 무기 같은 카드를 쓰실 생각인가요?
아니요. 그
So are you going to use the same concept that you used this round today? No, we're going to change it for today, and we're going to do our very best. In the first and second round, you guys were favored to become champion, but fell short. So what is your goal coming into these playoffs? We always did our best in every round, but we couldn't become the champion in the first and second rounds. We advanced to the finals for both rounds. We wanted to carry that momentum and become the champion, but we fell short. But I think my players gained a lot of experience through those finals, and they'll do a lot better this playoffs.
CJ가 지금 오늘 다 쓴 것 같아요. 그래서 더 이상
So he feels that CJ is going to use every card today. So it's going to be a very interesting match. Do you have any comments to the coach of Jin Air? I think we are the luckier team than Jin Air. We're going to do our best and use this opportunity to advance further in the playoffs. Thank you for the interview.
So CJ and their coach going to be relying on a bit of luck. Hopefully their players show up tonight as they have failed to do in various individual leagues recently.
Yeah, that's going to be the big question. CJ, what's the mindset of BL tonight? How's herO doing? Are these guys going to bring their A game, or is I guess BL is going to be reeling from that loss still for quite some time?
Yeah, of course. For anyone who saw the losers interview or heard about it from yesterday, he was quite sad, quite distraught after losing those games to Rain. But regardless of that, going into more stats here in terms of best of sevens, you could see how the teams did in 4-0 situations, 4-1, 4-2, 4-3. Seems like overall Jin Air is slightly better, but it seems like they lose a lot of 4-3s. They were like 1 and 4 there.
Right. Hey, I think it really does come down to Maru clutching in the end, and we have seen Rogue have a lot of success as well. I think they're probably the two big heavy hitters, but SOS is kind of back in form this time around, so maybe he can do some real damage starting things off. I'm very curious to see how he's going to be playing this one.
Yeah, for sure. And here, getting a look at Jin Air Green Wings players' records, you can see that it's pretty much just been SOS, Maru, Rogue, and Trap. Pure doing well in round 2, but hasn't won a single game for round 3.
That's pretty huge, actually. And that must be that 3rd and 4th card that they were talking about. Kira, one of the 3rd or 4th players, and yeah, it's pretty rough.
Yeah. I mean, you even look at Rogue, he was undefeated. It looks like in round 2, yeah, he went 5-0, but then round 3, he went 4-3.
Yeah.
So not quite having the same level of success, I guess you can say. 4-3 is not bad, but it's not what we're used to seeing out of Rogue, I would say.
Definitely not. No, he usually shines in these Pro League matches much more than he does in the individual leagues. And he's just stumbling a little bit this time.
Yeah, and taking a look here at CJ Entis players' records. herO doing extremely well in round 2. He went 7-1. He played 8 games. It's a lot of games to play in one round. Won all but one, but then you see in round 3 actually went 4-4, 50%.
Yeah, he really started to drop the ball, just, just slumping a little bit here. Same for BL in a way, like he got a lot of wins, 5 wins, but he did get those 3 losses as well. Plus he had a lot of bad luck in those individual leagues, especially the one yesterday.
Yeah. And then looking at the 3rd and 4th cards, of course, Byung definitely in that 3rd place spot, I'd say. I don't really see him doing that badly,
no.
But it doesn't seem like he played that many games, in fact.
I think the other one they might be talking about is Sky High, who went 0-3, I believe, looking at those stats.
And guys, of course, if you come down to the studio, there are a bunch of events here. I saw they were giving out some backpacks. There's probably some competitions you can go into. And as always, I believe we're going to be doing the predictions, like the fan predictions.
The text messages before the matches start.
It's been a pretty consistent thing since round 3, I think.
Yeah, it seems pretty fun, but I don't think anyone out there can really take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for you guys.
You don't want to text from like the U.S. or Australia.
It'd be pretty expensive. You probably won't get much out of it either. And let's be real.
Yeah, here are some of the things they're giving out. You guys can see, looks like laptop cases and some backpacks and some mysterious gray goo in a jar.
Yeah,
on the left.
If you can one-shot that, you'll get the black bag.
Oh, man. I would so do that.
They're pretty sexy bags, but I don't know if it's worth your life, Valdez.
It's actually some poison. It's a trick. It's like, who's dumb enough to actually do this? Let's find out.
I don't know. It could be bubble tea or something as well. It's probably one of those mystery jars that you don't know until you try.
It's so funny, like, that's right next to the backpacks they're trying to show off, too. Like,
yeah, they made a little bit of a mistake there.
Well, move the jar of gray goo next time. Like.
Yeah, it doesn't help out at all.
Yeah. So SOS versus herO, the first matchup. Why don't we talk a little bit about that?
That sounds like a good idea.
These guys very, very friendly with each other. They've had a lot of experiences, tons of games together going head to head.
Definitely, and both of them, herO obviously the ace player. Usually for CJ, SOS, he's kind of coming into power now. He's been growing over the last few rounds, but this time he's starting off for a reason. He is doing probably one of the best for their teams. He's having some luck in individual leagues now, qualified for SSL. Went through a couple of pretty decent pro rosters for it too. So he's looking in great form. He also managed to 3-0 Myungshik in Codes.
Yeah. His PvP is just looking fantastic these days. And sending him out here on Deadwing, CJ has sent herO out first many times before. They did it last time in the round 2 playoffs against Jin Air. So this was kind of an easy pick for for Jenner, in fact.
Right,
Where they're just like, oh, you're going to send out herO first, so let's just send SOS. He's beaten you before. He's kind of in your head. And, you know, even I think one of the last times they played, SOS even hit a base on Overgrowth.
Oh, man.
Look at this. These are the predictions for who is going to win this matchup, Jenner or CJ. Only one person goes for CJ. That is the MC in the middle there on the Korean desk. The rest of us do go for Jenner.
Yeah, Jenner looking to be like a little bit of a stronger team. They obviously did perform better during the round as well. And their core players, their ace players, are, I think, in better form at this point.
Yeah.
But maybe herO can bring something out we're not expecting.
Yeah. The one card, as we were talking about, is like the Byul over Maru. Definitely, I think that still does stand.
That's the danger.
Especially with Maru these days. He is seeming to be a little bit hurt in his wrists and his shoulders. He has said in interviews.
And, his TVZ has just been a little bit weaker than Dreams, for instance. Dream is a lot higher up in that skill chain now. And here's SOS. Fantastic work in recent times. Recently defeated Super and Sora to get into SSL3.
Yeah, and he 2-0'd both of them. So, I mean, there you go. His PvP is on point. Of course, that win over Myungshik, as you said before, 3-0 in GSL. Quite impressive. Here's herO. He's been the hero for CJ Ansys for so long. And even though we say recently he's not doing so well, he is still up there in the most winning spot, tied with Maru. He's got 15 wins, and only 8 losses.
Right. A lot of pressure on him today, but he has been doing well. He defeated Trap and Classic to qualify for IEM Shenzhen, I believe.
Yeah. And in fact, I would say those two Protoxes are stronger than the ones that SOS defeated.
Much stronger. And he might even be facing Trap further down the track here.
Yeah, it definitely could happen. We could even see it in game number 2, possibly. Going into predictions for the players, it is 3-3. Me, Wolf, and Kanata voting for SOS. Yu Moonlade, Yu Daehyun, and the MC on the Korean desk all going for herO.
That's right. I was a little bit of a traitor. I'm feeling herO today. Looking at his recent stats, beating Classic of all people is pretty huge at this point.
It's a pretty big stat here, but SOS has got into herO's head. Let's see how it all comes down here in game number 1 on Deadwing right now. Down here in the bottom left, in the red for the generic Green Wings, the Protoss player, it is SOS, $O$.
Bart Simpson loves him.
It's like Hunchback Bart Simpson, cross-eyed.
That's an unfortunate butt, man. Up here in the top right, for CJ, it is herO starting out strong. See if he can do some work here.
I want to point out in the chat. Oh, wait, hold that thought.
Oh, man. I don't even want to know what that is.
I hope that's not related to the gray goo. Maybe those are some humans that drank that gray goo, man. Very unfortunate.
Hey, man, looks like something that came out of the toilet.
Starting off strong today, Moonglade. So SOS gets the advantage here in the fan vote, 58% to 42%.
That's pretty big, too. That's pretty interesting. Fans have lost faith in the herO.
Yeah. He's just not looking as strong as he used to be, taking that 0-4 loss to Dream pretty harshly. And who wouldn't? It's a big deal.
Absolutely, yeah. It is a big loss. And SOS, you know, he does have that traction behind him now. He's looking good. Looking like the old SOS, the one that did win that World Championship once upon a time.
Yeah. SOS recently going up against Byul over at the GSL. I actually filled in for Tasteless for that day. Me and Artosis did that one. He went down 2-4, but he looked pretty interesting. You know, he was definitely playing that very tricky style again. Of course, I know it's a different matchup, but kind of you know, playing SOS's game, getting back into what he used to do all the time, and just it's pretty cool to see. SOS always brings really fun games. I'm really excited to see what he decides to do on this big map.
Yeah,
this guy's already starting at cross spawns.
He's got like great sort of, he does like a lot of research. He has like these very interesting builds that he lines up for these matches, and I think he'll definitely have one lined up for herO, because this is a big match. If he can defeat herO at this point, it's such a crippling blow to CJ to start things off, like losing their ace player in the first game.
I would say CJ has the best chance of actually winning this one, but I think herO has to definitely win this game, because if that doesn't happen, I think Jenner definitely takes this one, just getting off to that big of a start, as you were saying.
Yeah, it's a it's a huge problem too, because the next match is most likely going to be another PvP. I doubt we're going to see a Zerg come out on Echo, and I doubt it will be a Terran.
Because Expedition lost is map number 3. So what if he wins? He's not going to have like a specific TY build planned for Expedition lost, or at least I wouldn't expect it.
So things get a little bit more complicated then. I think we'll be waiting for the Zergs to come out on that map number 3.
Yeah.
So yeah, it gets a little tricky for both sides.
To be honest, I'm kind of surprised that CJ did not play Hush here in game number 1. Maybe they just don't feel confident enough in him just yet. Maybe they want to use Sky High instead. Just bring like their top 4, you know, Byung, Sky High, and of course herO and Biel.
That would make sense, but Sky High, he has been underperforming, so I'd be surprised if they don't mix it up maybe. But yeah, they wanted to start off strong, both sides, just wanting to build that momentum in that all-kill format. So strong starts do mean a lot here.
Yeah, they definitely do. And talking about this game a little bit, we do have a Stargate coming out here for SOS, as well as a Twilight Council for herO. herO going into that Blink build, as he's very known to do.
2 more gateways. Matchups. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he loves the Blink Stalkers. It is his MO. It is what he does, and a lot of the times in this matchup as well. Stargate this early on.
Yeah, it's a Stargate, and then it's a Robotics right after. So this is, in fact, a very greedy tech build by SOS. These guys are at cross spawns, but the build out of herO is very aggressive.
It is aggressive, but I do like what SOS is going for, because he can get out that Immortal nice and quick, and it's going to be exactly what he needs to deal with these Blink Stalkers if he chooses to be aggressive. So he's setting himself up pretty nicely to do some harassment, and then go into that bit of a later expansion. With an army that can deal with Blink Stalker.
And at the same time, it doesn't look like herO's going to be going super aggressive with this one. He immediately adds a robotics facility as well, and is just going to take an expand.
Very safe play here. He's going to try for a probe. Oh, he gets one too.
Ooh.
Kind of an unexpected win there.
Yeah, he was carrying minerals. Maybe able to get a second one, in fact, and he does, going for the recall.
Now let's see if herO's going to try and take advantage of this as well, Valdez, because he did just burn up all his energy. He's not going to have a Fern and overcharge, and now Warp Gate is finished, and Blink is nearly finished as well. So if herO wanted to, if he had a pylon in place, maybe he could go for some aggressive Stalker play here.
Yeah. If you could imagine, like, if he was going all in, like if he did not have an expansion, if he did not go for robotics tech at all, and he had a forward pylon, SOS could possibly be dead. You know, there would be that counter Oracle harass coming in, but, you know, you keep your own Mothership core back at home to deal with that.
Right.
Could have been a nice spot for herO, but he's just going to miss it instead going into that later game. He's going to have a much faster Nexus. That's a big thing that he's going for him. So
and he did deflect the Oracle pretty flawlessly as well. No damage done just yet. The Mothership core harassment did more damage, which is pretty funny when you think about it.
Yeah, it definitely is very funny. The Oracle's going to stick around. Just going to be annoying. You know, you can get some decent scouting down and maybe some revelations a little bit later on in the game even. If Tempest even come out. Could be a small part of this game.
I think it could be a big part, man, because it is cross-map after all, so things could go pretty late on this map. I haven't seen SOS go for Tempest, though. I'd say herO's probably more likely to do it. We did see it a lot from Zest in the past, and where I think it really comes from more than anywhere else. Nice blink.
Yeah, this is going to go down. Did that even get 1 kill?
I think it got 1?
I think it got like 1 probe kill, that Oracle.
1 probe kill.
So, in fact, the Stargate tech not paying off at all, really, for SOS.
He gets a scout off of the base. I guess he knows it is Blink Stalker and a Robo. So he gets the idea of the timings of the expansion and the tech. But, yeah, definitely not worth it at all. He wanted to keep that alive for a lot longer.
Yeah. The one thing that SOS does have going for him is that he's already got 2 Immortals out, and he's getting a 3rd one. So he's going to have a much more buff army. You know, those Blink Stalkers, we were talking about how this is going to go pretty late, probably, unless one of these players decides to go for some big mid-game push, maybe off a 2 base, try to catch their opponent while they're transitioning into Tempest or something. But that army of SOS is going to be a bit more solid, I'd say.
Yeah, much
compared
better.
to herO, who's still warping in Blink Stalkers. He's got 9 of them now.
He's not going to find much luck with that against 3 Immortals. And these Immortals, you know, they're already dealing with the debris down low. So maybe SOS going for a faster 3rd base behind this as well. He's going to have that really powerful composition for some time longer. There's no real way that herO's going to be able to engage into this.
No. I mean, that Mothership core is going to have enough here, even for a Photon Overcharge. We do see herO, he's probably going to go poke a bit. You know, he's going to put up that forward pylon, but once he sees those 3 Immortals, he's got to be very, very careful. Maybe able to, like, cancel a Nexus or something.
That could be it, right? there could be like one chance he has. He could pick away a couple units, maybe get a Stalker or some sentries, but if these Immortals get on top of these Stalkers, they're going to lose. They're going to drop pretty quick.
Yeah, looks like he is going to warp in a bunch more Stalkers, though. We even have a Warp Prism on the way. He's going to have 12 Stalkers total.
Now, this is good for containment, and this is a good chance that he can actually do some damage to probes. He looks like he's going to be blinking into the main base.
Oh, and this is 4 Stalkers. They can one-shot a probe. He's going immediately for that Mothership Core, and he will get it. On the other side of things, it looks like he lost 2 Stalkers in a fight against Immortals. Trying to look at 2 places at the same time, and these Stalkers just use their blinks, and 2 of them are going to go down again.
Really nice damage there. The Stalkers are getting too low in count. Only 8 there at this point.
Yeah.
Might have to warp in some more, but he's found the pylon already as well.
And does that trade really pay off for herO? I'd say no. You know, he does get the Mothership Core, but that can be remade. The next attack is not going to hit for a long time. The new Mothership Core will have enough energy. But in the meantime, he lost 4 Stalkers, and now he's losing a bunch of probes here to another Oracle, a very late one, in fact. I think herO was not expecting that.
Not at all. 5 probes going down for that. Completely worth it. Just triggering that photon overcharge. Not really taking too much damage. It's just about SOS finding the space to put down this third base safely, because if herO is being a little bit more aggressive, maybe trying to poke that third base, he could get a cancel on it pretty easily.
Yeah. Well, look at this. It looks like herO's going to go for a bit of a drop into the main. You know, he did take out that Mothership Core, so the new one probably doesn't have that energy. It's also out of position. But the drop hasn't hit just yet, it looks like. That Oracle's still flying around. Okay, there it is.
Yeah. Going to do a lot of work, actually. Nothing here to really deal with it. Now Blink Stalkers are going to find the place.
Oh, it looks like they're going to get the Mothership Core again.
Once again, this is huge. Units still getting dealt with in the main base as well. And
Back
this is
getting
the power.
a lot of damage done.
Yeah, the Blink Stalkers finding a lot of room.
5 probes go down here for SOS. This Nexus has got a lot of health.
Got a lot of health, but it's allowed to do much damage to it. All right, 3 Immortals still down there at the natural. First Colossus out as well for SOS. And behind this here has almost finished his third base. So he's staying pretty much on par in terms of expansion and economy. And he's going into his own Colossus.
Yeah, both these players, I think, will just transition into this third base. We do see the upgrade for herO for the attack is slightly ahead. He does have that +2 already on the way. SOS is a little bit delayed. But again, he still has those 4 Immortals, and he's still doing damage with this Oracle.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of damage. Forcing in those warp-ins, something you don't really want to be making at this point. It's more Stalker warp-ins to deal with the harassment.
Yeah. We got a very cute Phoenix here from SOS. Just dealing with herO's drops. I think this is very smart.
So close as well to finding that Warp Prism.
I think he sees it, but he's not getting it.
He's just not paying attention to the edge of his fog of war.
Yeah.
Oh, that is ridiculous.
That's so funny. Okay, finally he realizes and he will be able to take down that Warp Prism.
Yeah, it ain't getting away. Oh, maybe it will. Stalkers coming across the left side of the map. If he can get a good fling on top of this Phoenix, he will save it.
He's going down to 80 health, 70 health, 60, 50.
No blink yet.
20 health. And the Phoenix will stay alive. It still wants to get that damage. He may be able to catch some of these Stalkers, actually, possibly bait a blink out with that Phoenix.
That's a pretty scary army when you look at it. A very anti-Stalker army. A lot of Immortals, Zealots, and that Colossus. No Stalkers of SOS's own.
Yeah, he's even got charge up very fast. I don't even think herO started that.
No, I don't think so.
That's pretty insane. I would definitely favor SOS's army here.
I do, but it's going to be a hard fight no matter where he goes. It's such a hard place to attack into Deadwing. And look at that, SOS taking that quick fourth as well. So he's got one thing on his mind, and that's going to the late game with high economy. Yeah. He has no intention of pushing the issue anytime soon.
Looks like he's going to forego the Tempest, whereas herO does go for the Tempest. He's going to have 2 Stargates plus the Fleet Beacon coming up here. And already making an Oracle for that spotting. Whereas SOS, it looks like he's just going to go for the big ground army. He's got Archons already out on the map. And just go for that kind of composition.
Yeah, it might mean he'll have to attack sooner than he wants, because you don't want to wait too long against that Tempest composition. But he does have that base up on herO at this point as well. And we have seen that play a big part when it comes to the late game. If one player is going for Tempest, the other going for a solid ground army, the remax can happen a lot quicker if you got that huge bank.
Yeah. You get players making like 16, 20 gateways, you warp in 20 Stalkers, blink underneath, very weak Tempest. But at the same time, we do see 3 extra Stargates coming down as well as a fleet beacon. So it looks like SOS, after he gets that 4th base, will also be making the transition.
Probably a much easier transition too, with 8 gases instead of 6.
It's a
little
big
bit
deal.
earlier. And he could even try for a cancel on that 4th base of heroes if he's dead enough. Playing it safe there.
By the way, the observer of SOS sees everything.
Oh.
Awkward Oracle there, not sure what he was doing.
That was a very awkward Oracle. Big warp.
He was trying to join SOS's army, but he wasn't letting it happen.
Oh, this could be a very important scout from here. He sees everything. So he knows the tech choice of SOS at this point.
That's pretty huge, and I wonder how he's going to survive, because respond rather. He also knows that SOS already has that 4th base up, and he's only finishing his now.
I guess he can simply just go for the same, and I don't know if there's really a hard counter to this kind of style. It's just like, well, I guess I just keep making them.
Yeah. Like we were saying, we thought this was going to be a bit of a longer game to start things off. I mean, it's Deadwing PvP cross spawns.
Yeah. I think it's always going to get to the Tempest stage in these kind of positions, this kind of game. And here already Smiley dealing with a lot of his ground army. I think he got rid of most of his Zealots, if not all of them, just to get more supply for his Tempests.
He's got 5 Zealots on the ground, whereas SOS has got 17. It's going to be interesting. You know, he does have that charge. He is going to be able to surround the ground army of herO at least, but running into 5 Colossi, they're not going to survive very long. And like you said, that supply is going to be eaten up. He's not really going to want those Zealots eventually.
Definitely not. And look at this. Already a Mothership warping in as well for herO. So he's getting that late game army together. He knows he's got all the time in the world to do this because he knows the exact same tech is happening from SOS's side.
Yep. These guys are essentially building the same stuff right now. It looks like herO's got 2 extra Colossi plus range. Not sure if SOS forgot about that or if he's intentionally foregoing the Colossi range to just get out more heavier gas units, you know, more Tempests.
I think it's a huge mistake. when I look at it, it has to be, right? Because he's made 3 Colossus at this point.
It's definitely going to be worth it to have that.
Yeah, see, at the same time, here he does have 5 Colossus now. He's got this ground army that can steamroll, as well as this number of Tempests. Just getting higher and higher. And look at this run by from SOS.
Yeah, SOS is looking to get rid of his supply of Zealots, but he's also going to do some harass damage, coming into the main, dropping those guys in, and also just walking straight up into the 4th base. And it looks like herO is going to be triggered into attacking, already moving across the map.
Wow, committing to this straight up. Whoa, instantly losing an Archon as well. Oh, this is going to be a hard one.
And SOS, he did lose a lot of supply in those Zealots that did go down, but he hasn't used it just yet. He hasn't remade any units.
No, not yet. And Mothership warping in as well for SOS. He's kind of holding it off for now, and I don't think hero's going to commit too hard to it. It's such a hard position to attack into, especially if you have Revelation all over your army and you're in a Tempest fight.
Look at this. DT's being warped in. He's trying to focus down that Dark Shrine of heroes. Getting some damage done to the building. herO warps in a ton of DTs to deal with that. herO's got 6 DTs on the map, and they're all in his main base.
Wow. And more damage happening to this army. This is a bad place for herO to be. He's kind of stumbling right now. SOS getting a lot of kills before the fight even begins.
Yeah, and here we go. The Tempest fight begins. Already able to snipe out 1 Colossus, 1 Tempest. Is SOS finally herO grouping up with his Mothership is very, very important. And if you'll notice, I just want you to take a look at the units tab right now. herO has 5 observers, and SOS has none.
That's a big thing.
That's a huge deal.
Yeah, he's going to have to focus down that Mothership core before he does any damage to this army. I don't think he even knows he has a Mothership just yet.
Yeah, herO's done a decent job of hiding it.
Yeah, he has. I think it came late to the party, maybe by an accident, but it's going to prove to be a bit of an advantage because SOS is not going to be ready for it at all.
Funny the way that works out. And herO, you know, just posturing in the middle of the map. He hasn't committed to anything just yet. Going to take a 5th base, in fact.
Not a bad idea. His main base is completely not mining at this point, too. All this run-by damage is just doing so much work.
Look at that in the natural. Just coming in behind those rocks, and there's nothing to deal with it. Finally warping some DTs in.
16 probes went down in a moment's time. This is how much damage late-game Zealot DTs are going to do to you. They're going to one-shot a lot of stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, Mothership's going to be so careful here.
Where was the army of SOS during that
He was looking
fight?
for that shot. It was like right behind that base, but he didn't go for the hit on that Mothership. If he had to like one-shot that, that's like such a big game changer.
SOS is taking a hidden base at 24 minutes into the game. It is SOS, so you have to sneak it in sometime.
He's got to do at least one a game.
Yeah.
Might as well be 24 minutes in. Both a bit of a standoff situation at this point. It's so hard to attack into each other, but if you get a good revelation like this, it's going to make up for it.
Yep.
He didn't get it on the mothership there, so that's a big deal.
This is a pretty big deal. We do see herO adding a lot more cannons in. He's kind of learning that SOS is going pretty heavy on the harass, and he does have to deal with it. But at the same time, there's a lot of DTs coming in doing some decent damage, but only getting 3 probes, I guess.
Yeah.
Not so much.
He's going to really force the fight that maybe SOS is trying to avoid as best he can. And here we go. So many Archons coming in. Big splash.
Getting huge damage done to all of those Tempests. And a lot of the Archons of SOS are all the way in the back. And look at all the Tempests of SOS just melts here. The ones of herO are still alive in the back. He is going to pull back, though, for just a second.
Yeah, the Remax coming in already from SOS, which is always going to be the problem in a Tempest fight. But more and more coming in from herO as well.
Down Remaxing in a ton of Stalkers, but they're not really doing much.
No.
And in fact, a lot of his Tempests now are going down. All the Stalkers of SOS are being protected right now. And there's the huge flank under all of the Tempests of herO.
Yeah.
They're all going to go down.
All getting whacked out. And advantage SOS, just that Remax happening at his front door and just makes things so much easier to defend. herO in a lot of trouble. You know, he took so much economic damage from all these run-bys with Zealot DT, so he's kind of had a hard time. His bank is non-existent.
Yep. It's pretty much gone at this point. He can't even make units right now. There are a bunch of observers flying in the air. He's going to make 5 probes. He's like, I guess I gotta just make 5 probes. And these DTs are going to do a lot of work, though, because there's no observer here. Actually, I guess those must have been...
Oh, he snipes it as well.
That is so huge. These DTs can do so much damage. SOS is going to have to turn all the way back around. He's going to have to make that observer once again. I think that was my bad. I think that was 5 DTs, in fact, not 5 probes.
Yeah.
Mistakes were made. Sorry, guys. It's fine.
Oh, that's fine. It made it for an even better of a surprise, Valdez.
Accidents happen that make things more exciting.
Oh, it made it so much better. And, yeah, huge save there from herO. You know, he buys a little bit more time. They're pretty much equal in supply and in economy. There are a lot more gas for SOS at this point. The hidden base is slowly getting saturated as well.
Yeah, wow. I guess we're just going to have a bit of a standoff now once again. I think the army of SOS is still a bit better. He's got 2 Colossi, 2 Immortals, 16 Stalkers.
Yeah.
Whereas herO's got mostly Zealots, in fact. He's got 1 Tempest.
He's
like
making more.
Slowly getting his army back, you know?
He's remaking the same army, which is a very dangerous kind of almost greedy thing to do because you're not going to have so much time, especially if SOS decided to be like, you know what, I'm going to just attack you with massive ground army. You're just not going to get the Tempest out in time.
And look at this. The cannons are out of position. There's none in the mineral line here. So that DT can just sit there and deny the mining at that entire base until herO deals with that.
That is so dirty.
He's even got an Oracle back here just in case.
Okay. And the Oracle can come in at some point.
Yeah.
You might want to keep that one alive. You might want to use it against these Tempests in the future. That'd be a big waste to lose something like that at this point.
Look at the small gateway army, the Zealots and the Stalkers from herO, just kind of out on the map. I think he was thinking about going for a bit of a counterattack, but he sees that SOS's army is straight out there in front. So.
Yeah, if only he knew that the bottom right base existed, he might have gone straight down there.
Yep, he could have easily just shut that down. He is going to see it now with the Zealot, in fact. And those are 2 very important gases. Notice how he takes both of those very, very quickly.
Yeah.
The gas is going to be the biggest thing here. A ton of high-tech units for both of these Protoss players.
Very gas-heavy unit composition, especially with these Archons. Cost nearly no minerals, so very helpful.
And herO's going to take a page out of SOS's book and say, okay, you can take a corner base. I can do the same. Uh-oh, not sure if that was a mistake, but he's going to lose all of his Zealots.
He's actually going to blink down these Stalkers and sack them as well. I don't know about that. Seems a little ambitious.
I mean, there's everything coming back here for SOS. He may be able to kill a bunch of these probes, but the Nexus is going to survive. There's 3 cannons here. And like I said before, SOS is going to eventually clean this up.
Yeah, he's throwing away 12 supply for this. And it's not going to do much at all.
He gets a Colossus, I suppose.
That's something.
But look at the supplies right now. It's 200 to 144.
Yeah, he's having a hard time. He's actually got a huge bank right now, but he's just using all his Stargates to make these units, so he doesn't really have much else. He might be forced to warp in a bunch of gateway units though very soon if SOS decides to attack.
Yep, SOS, it looks like he's posturing over here towards that 5th base of herO. not going to commit to it just yet. But now grouping up his army, maybe going to park those Tempests.
There we go, big DT warp in. He's going to make a bunch of Archons for this army. He's scared of attack, an imminent attack anytime soon can happen, and he sees it with his Observer too.
It looks like SOS does have the Observer, not actually Observer speed. It's going to be very, very important here. We've seen Creator steal games many a time with his DT play in PvP.
Oh yeah. And he's nearing max now here, so he's caught up. He was given enough time to actually reach that army that he wanted to. Much less gateway units compared to what we see from SOS. SOS got a lot of Stalkers, 15 Stalkers with this army right now. You can kind of consider that a bit of a wasting supply considering what we have from herO, which is a lot of Archons, a lot of Colossus, and these Tempests.
Yeah, I do like the unit comp of herO a bit better. It's really going to depend on the blink, and if SOS can get in position underneath those Tempests and have those 15 Stalkers fire, but that's going to be the hard part. We do see 3 extra Tempests here for herO.
Yeah, that is a big deal.
And 2 extra Archons, in fact, as well.
Yeah, they're going to take so many more hits. Just about getting on top of this army. If he can get a good shot off on this Mothership, DPS it down, it might be a much easier of a fight. You don't see a Mothership for herO at this point either.
Yeah. Guys, don't forget about the Observers. 3-2 right now in favor of SOS. If you can snipe any of those, both of these players still have their Dark Shrine up. You can warp it a bunch of DTs and force your opponent back. herO is still in this game because of that.
Yeah, he managed to buy so much time. Mothership, you know, is only a third done for herO, so he will eventually have one, but I don't think it's going to be in time.
I also want to point out that herO never committed to more air upgrades. He only got the +1 attack, whereas SOS is working on +3. He finally starts +2, but it may just be too late.
Yeah, a little too late for that, but he does have that quantity advantage, so he can still make up for it for now.
Yeah. Do
12
see,
to 9.
I don't know if SOS spotted that base, but he's making a pylon on the top left.
Super weird.
I guess he must know.
Yeah, he definitely saw it. I mean, he's got 2 TDs going in as well. He's kind of getting a nice container at this point. Both sides throwing away workers to build bigger army. And look at that bang from SOS, which is something that's going to really come into play when they start trading.
The remax is going to be real from SOS. You see, finally, SOS dealing with this base, but here we're going to warp it at DT. Maybe able to deal with it, but a lot of Stalkers going up there as well.
Yeah, it's going to be hard. The Stalkers should do all the damage they need to before a DT could ever push them back. Looks like herO starting to move across the map. He is maxed out. He does have that Mothership. Might be time to make his move. But I think we're going to see a bit more of the same Valdez when they finally start to clash. We're going to see a big remax from SOS and not much of one from herO.
Yeah, it's very true. At the same time, herO has 8 Dark Templar out on the map. A lot of them were warped in to deal with the top left harassment, but going to lose a lot of Stalkers here. But at the end of the day, I'm not sure if it's too bad of a thing, because we do see SOS making more Tempest, more Colossi.
Yeah, he's buying so much time, especially with these Stalkers. If herO committed to chasing to them, he'd be like tied up for another minute at least. Heading back to the center of the map, maybe this time it'll be the committal. He's actually using those DTs to turn into Archons as well. He's making as big an army as he can.
Stalkers coming in here to do some more harass damage. Gonna snipe some of these cannons possibly for more later harassment. But not much else. hero's going to deal with it with 1 DT, and he should clean it up if SOS doesn't respond.
Oh, big hits. Another Archon goes down for nothing. And he doesn't want to be dealing with probes right now. He wants to be finding this army and trying to take him down.
If I were herO, I would just like not kill those. They kind of get in the way, but...
They get in the way, but yeah, it's definitely opening up supply for an army that's going to be bigger and bigger. And he's just going to go for the base now. SOS a little bit out of position to try and deal with it.
There's so much DPS in this army. Nexus is going to go down immediately. SOS going to give it up. Like you said, not really in a position to deal with that at this moment in time.
SOS does have that +3 attack advantage as well at this point. herO only just starting his. He just finished +2 though, so he's not too far behind.
We do have 1 Sentry in the mix for SOS. I suppose that's for Guardian Shield.
Yeah, Guardian Shield. I guess maybe Hallucination if you need it so desperately for a scout. Not a bad choice.
Maybe you can hallucinate some Tempest or some Colossi or something.
I guess you could do that too. Yeah, that's not a bad choice. Yeah, a little bit of a utility unit there.
Yeah, interesting idea to keep it in your army
I like
this
it
late on in the game.
It's good. I think it's a great idea for Guardian Shield, especially if the remax is going to be from Stalkers as well.
Yeah.
You have that. It's going to just reduce so much of the damage.
For sure. And it looks like herO now, after taking that one base down, he's going to move down to the bottom right to deal with that base. Is SOS going to go for the defense, or is he just going to counterattack?
I think he might be going for the counterattack, or maybe he just doesn't know exactly where herO's army is.
Well, he's going to find out in a big way right now. Everything down here in the bottom right, he will definitely lose the space.
It's guaranteed at this point, and he's no real place to try and go for much of a counterattack. It looks like he's heading towards that fourth base now, but I think by that time we could see a recall if he's looking for it.
Gonna take out everything here. SOS moving into position behind this third base.
That has to be a very careful recall, and it will be the safer base.
Good idea. More probes going down here. It looks like SOS is down to 18 probes, 18 workers, and he's not going to have much of a bank impact at all in gas. He's got 380. He's really struggling to get that gas down.
Yeah, that's actually huge at this point, and there's still 40 probes for herO, so he's still got a pretty healthy economy, even at this point of the game, which obviously means he has a much smaller army supply right now, so he has to be careful where he takes his fight and how he does.
This is going super late game right now. It's already 40 minutes into this game. I hadn't even realized until I looked at the time.
It's been too much fun. It's just back and forth, they're kind of dancing with these giant armies. A lot of harassment going down. But I'm just waiting for that big fight to see what happens.
Yeah. You know, I will favor SOS if he is going to be able to make a big army, but herO is looking to possibly punish this.
Yeah, herO's got to get a good position there. It is Tempest.
By the way, SOS never got Colossi range.
It's kind of
He's got 5 Colossus.
He does.
And he doesn't have range.
Big blunder there. I think it'll come into play in these kind of fights as well. Because there's so many Archons and things on the ground to be dealt with that are important, even in this Tempest fights.
Yeah. It's a huge deal. At least SOS is able to secure another base with gas. You do see that one in the middle left over here.
Looks like herO got bullied back because there's a revelation on his mothership. So he's like, well, I can't fight head on until that starts to disappear. So he gives up the position in the middle of the map. Maybe wait for another Oracle of his own.
Yeah. Trying to come over here and harass a bit. He's going to take down all these, well, most of the cannons, but that's about it. And he's not going to stop that gas mining.
Oh,
most
man.
important thing at that base.
That's another 5 Archons on the way for this army. He does have such a healthy gas bank. Why not? And he's actually up considerably in supply at this point, too. So if he finds a good fight right now, maybe he can take it.
Looking for it. Some Archons being picked off here. The Oracle going to go down for SOS. And uh-oh, that Mothership Core being focused down.
Oh.
Or the Archons moving forward as well.
Yeah, still got to maintain a good position. Doesn't want to go into an arc against Archon Colossus.
And that range coming into effect here, just right behind those Archons here in a bit of a front position. Both these guys battling it out. It looks like SOS has got more army supply and a big remax. The Stalkers from behind as well.
Yeah, that might just be enough. Everything getting wiped out in the ground for SOS in terms of at least a lot of the units down south, but everything else, the remax is way too much.
Look at the herO. He's got his head in his hands. SOS takes a gigantically deep breath. He's like, whoa.
Those remaxes, man. And that was his last remax, too. Look at the money he's got left over. It was do or die at that point. He managed to get it done, and now he's going to take down one of the only bases mining for herO.
Unbelievable. That fight was just insane. I think just the positioning and the remax was a bit better for SOS.
Yeah, that remax is something else.
Okay, SOS has got a lot of observers with his army this time.
Not going to happen again. Big win for JNR.
GG. JNR takes the first win on the back of SOS over herO. A 44-minute game to start things tonight.
It looked like such a good position in that last fight for herO, but bank and positioning has such a big play in it. herO had to attack into a concave eventually, even though he got the snipe from that mothership. And then that pylon to the left side, just securing that position to SOS.
So it looks like the new range for SOS really worked out for him, huh?
Yeah, it seems that way. I guess he had it all planned out.
Yeah, it was all just to save that small amount of gas.
Yeah, just need a little bit more so you get that warp in. Now, what does CJ do here? That really throws a spanner into their works. They would not be expecting to lose their ace player like that in game 1.
Yeah. Well, it's always a huge risk if you're going to send out someone like herO in game number 1, especially when it's on such a Protoss flavor map. It allows the opponent's team to just make such an easy decision on who do they want to send out against herO. And they chose sOs. It was the right choice. And now they're getting a huge lead from this. I wouldn't be surprised to see Hush come out if they have the confidence in him over at CJ's desk. I don't really want to see Sky High up against SOS. Like,
definitely do
that
not.
is actually the last person.
He is just not being playing well at all. I think throwing out Sky High would just be like giving them another free win, giving them more momentum. I think it definitely has to be Hush at this point. Maybe they want to throw out their other ace player and just try and get it out of the way, but I think that would also be a bad idea.
Yeah, you don't want to send out Bill this early on.
No, they need him for Maru because he is the one that's going to take him down and maybe the only one to do so.
You guys see some of the players over here on CJ. I saw the walk of shame from when herO came out of the booth, and all the CJ players were just grouped up, and I looked back, and herO just got his head down, and they're just all like trying not to look at him. It was really awkward.
Oh, man. Well,
It's a rough
loss.
spot to be in, you know?
Yeah, that's a hard time.
Gotta feel sorry for the guy. He had such huge success so far in Pro League, but just not finding it in very recent times.
No, this has been a tough round for CJ, and it continues to be so, but maybe they can come back from this. I mean, they still got Biel up their sleeves. They got to be careful when they use him there. The last thing they want to use him for is a Protoss, especially after what happened yesterday.